Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to NAREB's Realtist Creating Pathways to Home Ownership. We are your host. I'll introduce myself. I'm Rosalind Booker, Roz B, as Roz B. Yes, I'm the principal broker, CEO of our Brook Realty. We are a full service real estate company in the North Texas area, and we serve surrounding cities. Also, the director of Our Brook Cares, your nonprofit that's linking arms and shoulders with community partners to educate renters on becoming homeowners. And soon we will be offering the HUD approved education for home buyers. But with me today, we got our co-host, the lone lioness, Miss Rhonda, and Chris Ziegler, Ziegler. Okay, I put a little extra in there. Ziegler.
He a little extra, so it's okay.
Yes. Chris Ziegler, the principal. So, Miss Rhonda, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I guess good afternoon, right? But my name is Rhonda Hutchison, and I am the Lone Lioness. I'm a residential mortgage lender, and I'm powered by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. And I'm just going to sum it up. I do everything lending, and so my passion is to help those, like Roz says, stop renting and get into home ownership.
Right.
Yeah, in essence, we building generational wealth, and I'm looking to link arms with those like-minded individuals that are looking to do the same. So I'm excited about being here today. Excited about our show, what we have to share, and I can't wait till we get started. So, Mr. Chris.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I'm Chris Ziegler with the. Well, you said Chris Ziegler.
No, Ziegler.
Ziegler. No, Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler HC Allstate. I'm the principal. I'm gonna be like Ron. I'm the principal owner and
CEO.
The Ziegler HC Allstate, powered by Chris Ziegler. But no, all jokes aside, I'm glad to be on here today as well to talk about the subject we have. We're talking about retirement and investments and financial type things as well. I'm so excited. You know, you always hear me talk about home ownership and talking about homes and cars and renters insurance. But once again, I told you one of the key things I do as well, which I don't really touch on that much, is I think I should, is talking about life insurance and financial products as well that we provide. And that's one thing my office does also. I said, you hear that term, the jack of all trades, master of none, but we're the jack of all trades and we're the master of all. We do all well. I have a strong staff from stem to stern. So any products that we have, we make sure that we take care of you from a stem to stern to make sure that you understand what you're getting. And once again, my biggest thing is education and consultation, like these ladies as well, they do also. And that's the most important thing, when you're dealing with customers. And we were talking about that just a few minutes ago before we came on the air. We said we're looking for customers. Sorry about that. We're looking for customers, not consumers, because consumers are people not going to really take heed to what you're actually saying. They just looking to not even save a buck. They're trying to save half a cent. Mm-hmm. We look for people who are going to be in there for the long haul. Now, I'll take care of my half too, of course, if need be. But I want people who are going to be customers who really have a true heart for their own finances and making sure they're going in the right direction. But with that being said, once again, I'm Chris Ziegler with the Ziegler HC Allstate, located in Frisco, Texas, serving the DFW Metroplex and the whole state of Texas.
All righty. And how about that yellow and black memo? Yes. And Miss Rhonda, the long you got that yellow on, that golden, vibrant hair, girl. That is your signature. That's your mantra, right?
And let me say this too: the G is not for Georgia; it's for Grambling State University. So don't get it twisted. This is the real. This is the real G. Grambling, this is the real G. Yeah.
I hear you. One thing I love about NAREB, and Chris, after you pray us in, you can talk about it a little bit and then let Rhonda take it off. I love that, we serve and are part of an organization that believes in prayer. So with that being said, would you open us up?
Yeah, most definitely. Our glorious God, we thank you first and foremost to let us be able to do this show. And first and foremost, dear God, let us be here to be able to walk, talk, and breathe, because there's a lot of people who didn't wake up this morning, dear God. And we just thank you for the opportunity to serve your kingdom on a day-to-day basis through your son, Jesus Christ. We ask that you help us to be stewards of our finances, our time, our talents that you have given to us,
Yes.
Father, to be beneficial to others as well, to help them to grow and to be prosperous and knowledgeable in the things they do on a day-to-day basis, Father. And we ask that you enhance our knowledge as well so that we can be even more informed and we can grow as well and teach people the things that we know in order for them to be in the right direction. We ask that you watch not only of us, but our family and friends and even people who don't know, dear God, because with all this Omicron virus, the COVID, I guess the new one, the IHU. Dear God, this thing is for real. We know you have a plan and you have a purpose for all that you do, dear God. But let us adhere to the blessings you bestowed upon us and help us to be cognizant of what you do for us on a day-to-day basis through your son, Jesus Christ. These are the best we ask in your son's name we pray. We thank you, dear God. Amen.
You make me gonna
Amen.
pass the offering plate. Look, we just had a mini service there. Yeah. Chris, share a little bit about NAREB and Miss Rhonda, take us away from there.
Okay. Well, like we said before, NAREB has been around for 47 years. And, you hear the term realtor and realtist. We at NAREB are realtists. And what that means is, first of all, NAREB stands for the National Association for Real Estate Brokers. And the whole purpose of those organizations, how it was started, was because people of color were not able to be a part of the NAR, against the National Association for Realtors, which we weren't at that particular time. So they started their own thing to try to help out the people of color from that situation. And it's just an awesome thing that they've done. So now we do have the ability to be a part of the NAR, but we still have NAREB as well. And what a realtist is, I'm a realtist, Ron is a realtist, Ron's a realtist, and it's anybody who touches the real estate in any shape, fashion, form, and whether it be insurance, mortgages, real estate, if you're a home inspector, anything that might be. Hey, if you do house cleanings for, when people are trying to move out of the house, you have house cleaners who go in and do those kind of things. Those can be considered realtors as well. And we just look forward to having all different people from different backgrounds join this organization. Like I said, it's power in numbers if it's the right numbers, and we definitely want people to become a part of NAREB from that standpoint. And then also, you want to look at it from the standpoint too, even if you're not consider, let's say, a realtor per se, even if you're just a general layperson, it's just good to be a part of this organization because we do other things as well. It's a good tool for you to learn about what we're talking about on a day-to-day basis. You have contacts, but not only that, we do things as far as scholarship and community service. One of the biggest things that we have going on right now is, like I said, coming up here on the 29th of January, NAREB is partnering with me on my code drive, which is going to be held at my office. So we do a lot of philanthropic, community service type stuff, scholarships. We do free home seminars, anything that you can think of. We try to make sure that we're out there to be able to help out the community from stem to stern. That's my new word for the day.
Stem to stern.
Stem to stern.
Yes, stem. Yes. That means covering everything.
Covering all our bases, exactly.
Miss
I
Rhonda,
heard you use that big word, Chris.
what is our topic this morning? I know we're talking about retirement, creative ways to save, investments, and just really getting prepared. We're really in a different season.
We're really in a different season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and our topic today is actually retirement, preparing for retirement, preparing for our future. What can we do to make sure that we're ready for retirement, especially in our community of color? Mm-hmm. And so that's pretty much what we're talking about today. And I'll start us out, and I really want to read or really take some excerpts from a particular a particular article that I read. Shut up, Chris. A particular article that I read, and it's called "Retiring While Black." Can you put it any clearer than that? Retiring while black. And it was from a Consumer Report that it said inequalities put many Black people on poor footing for retirement. Mm-hmm. That means that we're just not ready. And many Black people who are now of retirement age has not been so fortunate as our other counterparts. And many pre-retires continue to live paycheck to paycheck. So we can just imagine how that looks once you go into retirement. If you're living paycheck to paycheck pre-retirement, just imagine where you're in retirement. Mm-hmm. And so compared to our counterparts, I want to say compared to whites, Long-standing disparities in opportunities for Black people have led to disparities in wealth and in channels to build it, like home ownership and participation in retirements and talent. Indeed, 83% of Black seniors do not have the assets they need to retire.
Wow.
And I guess you guys probably say, are we surprised?
Right.
Or are we surprised?
Well, not really, because the challenges that minorities face with even home ownership and, all of the roadblocks and the new systems and qualifications that are put in place to really keep people blocked out, of their wealth. So, no, it doesn't surprise me, but that's to be in awares of those numbers is really startling.
It is startling. It is very startling. And the Federal Reserve had a 2019 survey of consumer finance, and now that was the most recent report that was available, and it painted the fuller picture that Black families have considerably less wealth than white families. And Roz, I think you may have spoke on that a median net worth of $24,100 compared to our white counterparts, which is $188,200.
Right. And a large part of that equity gap is home ownership.
Home ownership,
Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, goodness. I mean, if we can't get the main thing right and, to glean from that and to, have a great return on investment from that, then all the other things that we'll, touch on and talk about, if we can't get a mortgage going and earn equity, then all these other things that, IRAs, annuities and things like that, that's kind of a, not even a second thought.
Exactly.
One thing I want to chime in real quick on this as well. And one thing I'll be interested to know is what the average age is for Blacks or people of color to actually start thinking about the retirement. I'm gonna try to find a statistic on that. So I don't know if you guys got a computer where you can look it up.
Yeah, let's look at it.
But and the reason for me saying that, because I just know from when I deal with on a day-to-day basis, like I told you, I'm big on education and consultation. And one of the things I really try to do, people think about retirement. And here lately, I've been getting a lot of people calling me about retirement. And the people who have been calling me about retirement, like I'm 55. I have people who are my age, between 48 and 55, who call me, even older than me, who call about retirement. And I say, it's never too late. However, I've really been trying to talk to my younger customers, white, Black, other, but especially us, to make sure that we understand the time for preparing for retirement is when you're young.
Yeah, exactly.
That time to prepare. So, when you get out of college and you get your first job, that's the time you really need to start talking about, thinking about retirement. That's why I really, really focus on everybody. But I can tell people, even like we talk about life insurance, I really, really emphasize talking about life insurance to my younger customers, because the thing is, you heard me say this before, when they're younger, it's cheaper. And you'll hear people sometimes say, when it comes to life insurance, oh, you don't want to get the term policy, you want to get a universal whole life. And my philosophy is totally different. You've heard me say this on many occasions. My philosophy is it depends. Depends on the situation, depends on what you're trying to do. Because I hear you got to be careful too when you talk to some financial people. Sometimes they think from their pocket, not yours. So you got to be careful, making sure that they have your best interest at heart. And a prime example, when I talk to my customers, I say, I love the term, because sometimes once I explain to them, they end up going term anyway because of the cost. But the beauty about a term policy is the fact that, I say it's like lease to buy. It's not renting, because renting, you don't have any financial stake or anything in it. It's like you pay your money, it's gone. Like we talk about, don't rent, own. But a term policy is essentially like lease to own, because if you get a term policy, you get it, it's cheaper, but in the long run, or even the short term, you can actually convert that term policy into a whole life or universal life. So I'm gonna give you a number. I'm gonna make up a number. So if I say I had $500,000 worth of life insurance term, I had that policy about a year or two, and I decide, I do want to get some whole life or universal life. I can take $50,000, $100,000. I'm going to make the math simple. You take $100,000, you get a universal life policy. You still got $400,000 in term, and you can actually still convert that over at a different time. Now, I really encourage my customers a lot of times, depending on their situation, but especially the young ones, or just people in general. I say 30 years because, man, that time flies when you talk about 10 people. I always want to do a 10-year term. That 10 years will be gone just like that. So I always encourage people to get a longer term policy from that standpoint, because it gives you time to kind of maneuver and kind of matriculate over a period of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And one of the things, in fact, Ross just talked about this at the Federal Reserve report, notes that by some estimate, the difference is in inheritance and
Yep.
also in the racial wealth gap.
Yep.
And that's where the difference is in our counterparts. It's just in our inheritance, what we can pass along from generation to generation, and also the racial wealth gap. How much we're spending. We talk about that all the time. How much we're saving, and not really not being prepared for retirement. Just like you stated, Chris, earlier, it's just not having those insurance policies, not having those life insurance. Like you said, whether term or not. Not being prepared for retirement. And
yeah, and I think what we do as a race, and I've seen this, is we don't have insurance like we should.
Right.
I don't know about y'all. I really cringe at the GoFundMe's. It's like,
Yeah.
why are we not prepared? And
not prepared.
And I think a part of that preparation is education, and then application of the knowledge.
Exactly.
Some cultures, the minute that baby, it ain't even dried off good. After it's born, they're calling, putting those $1 million policies on it. Wow,
Absolutely.
it's a few dollars,
Exactly.
And that's how they are able to send their children to college, help them with their first house. And Chris, you might have some victory stories over how someone has taken a policy when a child is young, like an infant, and how it grows and what you can do with that money as a plus to saving for retirement. Can you explain like the growth on some of those policies and what it could mature and turn out to be?
Well, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on here. I don't want to get into too many numbers and stuff because it's different from case to case, but you pretty much stealing my thunder, but I ain't mad at you.
That's what we do as family.
But no.
You be in my lane a lot.
She was slick on that one, Chris. She was slick on that one, wasn't she?
But no, you did a phenomenal job of that, pretty much explaining it. I mean, and that's the key. But once again, not trying to bash our people, but sometimes we as a community, sometimes we have other cultures that do it when they're young, and sometimes in our culture, with the Black community especially, they think, oh, that's creepy getting a life insurance policy on a child. That's bad luck. No, it's not bad luck. It's bad luck when it's time for that child to go to school or try to do something else, and then you don't have the money. That's where the bad luck comes in, right? From that standpoint, is that you need to be. It's about education and understanding. But those are the conversations I have to have. But one thing I've been noticing lately, though, too, I am excited about. I have seen more and more of us, when I say us, people of color, calling me up and trying to find out what they need to do and put themselves in a position. So I've actually seen an uptake, at least in my office, from that standpoint.
Awesome.
I've been extremely excited about that because, I've been setting up appointments with them and everything, going over different things. And you were talking about, the different options out there, like the Roth IRA or traditional IRA, and even like with me, I had a customer call me the other day. We were talking about this conversation earlier about the 401k, and everything. Like, so I'm gonna give you what you need, not what you want. And like I said, I don't think about my pockets when I'm dealing with somebody. I had a customer call me the other day and say, "Hey, Chris, I need life insurance." My question is, what do you need it for? A lot of people think, what do you mean? So I get into a line of questioning and ask them what they need it for. And the thing is, what they said they needed it for, they were looking for something that was going to have cash value. So kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, I said, first question I asked them, I said, you're talking about more of a financial gain from a financial standpoint, cash value from that standpoint. And the first question I asked them, I said, do you have a 401k? They said, yes. I said, do you maximize it? They said, no. I said, does your company match it? Does your company match it? Yes, they do. So I said, you need to maximize that. And whatever they match it, what you need to go match it. I said, for right now, depending on what you need, we still can do life insurance, but if that's your main concern is trying to have a financial gain from that standpoint, I said, start there, because that's money you already have allocated for that. It's going to come out of your check. It's something you don't even have to worry about, thinking about it, because it's going to come out automatically. Mm-hmm. Now, we did go ahead and talk about the life insurance. We did talk about term, because they said they had a scenario where they said if anything were to happen, they did want to have some kind of coverage from that standpoint. So I told them about, maximizing their 401k first. And then once I told them about that, then we did have that conversation about life insurance, but it was for a different reason we were getting the life insurance for. If it wasn't from that particular case, it was not for, financial or trying to get a cash value. Because I think at that particular time, it was better for her just to go ahead and, max out their 401k. Now, something we could look at later on down the road, but I said, because she said she had a budget, but I said, you have a budget. I said, for right now, that sounds like that's going to be the best thing for you. And I said, those are the kind of people you want to deal with, like us, me, Rhonda, and Roz, or any professional. Like I said, you got to be careful. Because sometimes somebody say, hey, I need some life insurance. You ask for it, I'm going to give it to you. They're not going to give you how much you want, But, and not that I do that to try to get business or anything like that. I treat people like I want to be treated. I like to be treated extremely, extremely well. So that's the reason I do what I do.
Right. Well, what you're saying is line upon line, precept upon precept. Don't jump ahead. Let's cover the basics.
Exactly.
Start saving early. And, while we're talking about that, NAREB has a great component that we are offering, and that's that D-Free program.
Exactly.
And
yeah, exactly.
The D-Free Global Foundation, it's a nonprofit, and it's charged with leading African Americans and the community to financial freedom through content, curriculum, and training. And they have a $1 billion mandate to help shave off $1 billion of debt in people's household. This is absolutely free. It's a free program. It's the letter D, then FREE, D-Free.
D-Free.
Yeah, go look it up.
My favorite four-letter word, free.
Yeah, D-Free Foundation.org. What you can do is plug into their program. They'll give you a debt elimination, basically template where you put in your bills, and as you pay your bills down, they will give you an overview of where you are, what you have left, and it's great. I mean, it's a little mini Dave Ramsey program, if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, to give yourself a raise and get your 2022 started off on the right track by becoming debt free. And a lot of people don't realize, people's like, well, I'm pensioned from piddle to post. I don't have enough. You can't get blood from a turnip. Well, that's where we've talked about a good budget comes in, a good budget. But to curb, as we were talking about, our spending habits is very important. Chris and Rhonda, wasn't it research that you guys shared here last couple of shows that what is our spending power in our community?
If I'm not mistaken, in the Black community, they said in the Black community it's 1.3 trillion with a T. 1.3
It was a lot.
Trillion. It was a lot. And they said we only get 3% out of that 1.3 trillion. So, I mean, like I said, we have a lot of buying power. We actually, African Americans and people of color, especially specifically African Americans, have the biggest buying power here in the United States. But once again, we only have 3% of that 1.3 trillion. And like I said, in our community, that dollar does not stay in our community. In the Black community, I think they said it's a matter of hours, where some other ethnicities is 30 days, 40 days. I think the Jewish community is like 30 to 40 days. Asian community 25 to 30. And, Hispanic might be 12, 15. Don't quote me on these numbers, but bottom line is days versus with us is hours, which is important. But I'm going to go back to what you're talking about, the D-Free, which is important too, talking about investing. And one thing I like about that program, it does make you aware of your spending habits. A lot of times people are like, I don't have any money to, I'm doing my voices. I don't have any money to to spend, or save to do investing. But when you do something like a D-Free, it helps you to be focused and get you locked in. Then that's when you see I'm spending money on, as they say, get my nails did, get my hair on.
I mean, lashes, the whole lash thing.
Oh, yeah, my goodness.
I mean, that's $35, $45. Don't count the nails and the toes. And, what about these $500 and $1,000 wigs? I mean, we love to look good, and that's awesome, and that's amazing.
I want you to look good now. I want people to look. I ain't saying nobody need to be looking like a ragtag bag and nothing like that. But the thing too, think about
it's a balance. It's a balance.
It's a balance. It's a balance. And like I tell people too, like I told you, you always hear me say this. I have champagne taste on the Kool-Aid budget. I like the best thing, but I'm going to pay. Like I said, my favorite four-letter word is FREE. When people ask me how much you want to pay, I say close to free as possible, if not free. But I mean, that's how we have to look at it. Not get caught up on how much something costs. This is trying to be economical when you're doing things. I mean, we all like to do things. We all like to go out to eat. But if you like to go out to eat, maybe don't go out every day. Because if you look at it, man,
Meal prep.
that adds up. So it's money to, in most cases, I'm not saying all cases, but most cases, some people do have enough money where they can start saving up to invest. It's just making time to make sure they take a look and see what everything is out there that they have before them. And like I said, D-Free is a good organization for that.
One of the things we were talking about was the reverse mortgage and how that works, and what could be considered as income for those who have retirement accounts if they want to buy a home. Rhonda, can you expound on that a little bit?
Yes, what we call those HECMs, and those are reverse mortgage, and it can be a HECM purchase where you can use the equity in your home to purchase, or you can do what we call a reverse mortgage when you actually take a portion of that equity out of your home and use that for monthly cash payments. And one of the things the criteria for that is you really just 62 years old. You just have to be at least one of the bars in the home has to be 62 years old. That's the main criteria.
So crazy question. Does that mean before you can do a reverse mortgage, your home has to be paid off?
No. You have to have a percentage based on your age. And just say, for instance, if you're 62 years old, you have to have at least 60% equity in your home. Yeah, I mean, you only have 40% less to go. So you have to be able to take out at least 60% of that equity. Just for instance, if you have a house that's worth, and I'm doing this for math because it's easy. If you have $100,000, the most you can take out to have the monthly payments is $60,000. You have to leave $40,000 in the home.
I see. And that $60,000 will be paid out over a period of time.
Yes, and monthly. You can opt to have it in monthly installments.
Wow.
Okay. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. So, that's the reverse mortgage paid out in monthly payments. Now, if someone were to come to you and say, "Okay, I want to buy another home. I'm currently in a reverse mortgage," is that monthly payment that they're being paid out, is that going against their debt to income ratio?
They're not actually being paid. If you're going to do what we call a HECM purchase, is that you're actually not getting any money. You're just not making any monthly payments towards so you're not receiving any cash back. You're just not making any payments. And only thing that you're responsible for over that time, for the life of your life, is that you're responsible for your taxes and insurance or any HOAs or PUD, any kind of assessments that are due on your property. But there is no monthly payment, and there is no cash coming back to you on a HECM purchase.
Let me ask you a question, Mister. Can you dumb it down for me? So I'm gonna use an easy number. So if my home mortgage is $1,000 a month, they basically just take $1,000 a month from that each month. Is that how it works?
No, what do you do is it's kind of like, I want to say like a refinance, but it's not a refinance. It's that what they're taking is that, for instance, if you're going to buy a home and then you're looking at the home, just say you sold your home you have a home, because a HECM purchase, you have to really have a home, because you understand, because you have to put at least 60% down on the next home. So just say, for instance, if you had a home at $100,000, your old home, but you're going to buy a home for $140,000 or $120,000, you got to at least put $60,000 on that home, and your remaining is $60,000. That what we call, is not really a mortgage. It's not a mortgage. It's sitting there. That's why when you are able, just say for your family, you died, and I hate to say it like that, but you pass away. Your family also has the capability of either selling the home and getting that equity out that you didn't use, or what they can do is they can buy the home, and that means pay you out. Because what it is actually a not a second lien like a down payment assistance program, but it's a first lien, and it's being held where you have to pay that lien out if you pass away. Your children have to pay that lien out,
So,
or they can sell it and pay that lien, and then the house is yours. Only that 60%.
okay, I was just getting ready to ask. So, does that mean a family member can come in and basically pay what is remaining and own the home?
Yes, and own the home.
Okay.
Now, is it a cap on it? Like, is it a certain dollar amount the house can be, or does it make a difference how much the house
I don't
is?
think it's a cap. I'm not aware of a cap
Okay.
because I'm not a HECM expert. Let me just make sure I make that disclaimer. But if there's any additional questions and I don't know, I can find out for you. But from what I said, there is no cap in the amount of home that you can purchase. You just have to understand you have to put at least, if you're 62 years old, you have to put at least 60% down on your new home. So you got to have some equity from your old home to be able to put. So it's going to have to be almost paid off, if not paid off.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Now that's only on HECM purchase. On HECM, on the reverse mortgage, it's just a little different. Is that you can only take 60% out to be your month, to have lump sum payments that are given to you each month. But there is no payment. They actually pay you. What they're doing is paying you your equity. That's really what it's all about. It's paying you your equity.
Now, let me ask you this question. It sounds good, but I've heard, I'm still kind of confused. We'll have to talk offline. So you'll probably have to do some explaining with me a little bit more. But I've heard some situations where some people said reverse mortgages might not be good in the long run for certain people. Is that true? Like Roz, I say, is that the myth or the truth?
Myth or fallacy?
The only thing I
Fallacy.
can say is not good is you don't pay your taxes and insurance.
Okay.
Because just like any home that you purchase right now, if you don't pay your taxes, it's going to be taken away from you.
Gotcha.
That's just, but that's only because it's not owned by the bank. You know, some people think that I did a reverse mortgage. My mortgage is owned by the bank. No, it's just put a lien. A lien is just placed on the property. That's all it is. So you still own that home, and you have the option to actually come out of the reverse mortgage. Of course, that's gonna be a horse with a different color, but
Okay.
you do have that option.
What color is that horse?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Green,
purple, green, and blue.
So, if someone wanted to come off the reverse mortgage, do they just qualify as a new applicant all over again? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It
it's like a
okay,
purchase. Yes.
like a purchase. Wow. Here's what I'm thinking. If you're doing a reverse mortgage, just because you need some money, right?
Right, and just think about it. Just think about it. I own my, only have 40% left of my home to pay. I'm making a monthly payment. I'm 62 years old. I'm making a monthly payment. I can be taking that money that I'm making every month. I can go be traveling, enjoying life. If there's
Or
medication.
investing.
Yeah, exactly. Or investing. And there is no, because at the end of the day, when we're gone, I don't want to say who cares what happened to the house.
Right. I hear you.
Because I'm gone.
Folks gonna fight over your house.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yep. And if they do want to fight, at least they do have the option to buy it or get some money out of it. A or B. So to me, it's a win-win to me. Just making sure that you're able to keep up with your taxes and insurance because you are responsible for those. But let's just think about it. If I don't have a monthly payment every month, I think I can put aside money for taxes and insurance.
That's right.
Ron, I got a question for you. A lot of people, I deal with financial stuff. I deal with people who do the traditional RAs, the Roth RA, then the simplified RA. Is there any way they can use their RA in purchasing a home and anything like that? Is that something they can utilize, or is that something they can do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can use those things as down payment. For instance, your IRA or any kind of 401k. You can use those for down payment. And also, you can also what's qualified for income is your things like anything that your pension or things that your annuity that you're receiving monthly payments. That can actually be calculated as income. And what we do is we gross it up between 15 and 25% because we foresee over the period of receiving that it's going to increase. So when we purchase a home, we can gross that up between 15 and 25%, and even give you a little bit more income.
Wow.
Let me answer this question then too, because I had a customer ask. I said I'm good, but I'm not that good. A customer asked me about mortgage stuff, and she's getting ready to close, and she was telling me, she said, "Chris, I'm working on her homeowners insurance stuff." And she asked me, she said, "I think I'm gonna be a little bit short. Can I use my 401k?" I said, "Yeah, I'm not sure," because she said, "Oh, would that mess me up? Will that mess them up? Going into the 11th hour. Say I'm gonna get ready to close within a week, and I'm short." I know sometimes when you're trying to buy a house, a lot of times it's situations where, if you try to get this income, you have to prove where it came from and anything like that. Is that something that could be a snafu? It could derail the deal, or is that not a big deal?
Well, let me just tell you, a great loan officer as myself would talk to you.
Are you bragging?
Would have that discussion with you on the front end.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if there is something where you're going to be short, yes, you can pull out your 401k at any point, but that's something you want to do at the very beginning of the loan process, or at least once you're executing a contract, because sometimes it takes a little bit for you to receive those proceeds from your 401k. And if you're going to get them at the last minute, that will delay, because we have to have, what the procedure are, from pulling that money. You have to have documentation once it's received that it's coming from your 401k. And
Right.
not only if it's coming, you have to support, if it's going to be deposited into your bank account, you have to support, that actually being deposited. You have to show that. So you really don't want to do it on the back end. But in cases where you will have to, and that's the only way you're going to close on that home, I think we can find time to delay a little bit to make sure that you can take advantage of getting those proceeds.
Quick question, Rhonda. It's talking about you the goat today.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Wow. So, if a person is qualifying for a mortgage using their retirement income, when they take that income out, is that counted against their debt to income ratio?
No, because that's their money. And even if you're making a loan,
so if they're paying it back, the mortgage lender doesn't care. It's not counted.
Correct.
Ooh. Okay.
But on the flip side,
as long as it's your own money now. Now,
Right.
if you're borrowing that from a bank or a credit union or something of that nature, or going to somewhere and asking for a cash loan, an installment loan to pay for your clothes, and that's not allowed, because we have to count that towards your debt to income ratio. But if you're borrowing your own money funds,
Can I help out your DTI? Can I help you DTI out on the reverse side? Can I help you DTI out so you get that money for one? Okay.
Well, on the reverse mortgage side, it's a little bit different, because on a reverse mortgage, your credit is not counted, but you have to, and your debt to income ratio is really not calculated in the same way, because as long as you have that income to pay your taxes and insurance, that's what they're more concerned about, because you don't have a monthly payment. So it's not the same as just a regular purchase.
Yeah.
Right. This is good stuff today. I'm learning a whole lot. So let's get back to being debt free.
Okay.
And I can speak from our own experiences. My husband put in 33 and a half years at a company, and he was able to early retire. Now me knowing him, he's not going to lay down the hammer. He's going back to work. But the fact is, if he don't want to work hard from here on out, he doesn't have to. But that doesn't mean we're going to go crazy too with our spending. Actually, what our plan is to kind of really trim things back, meaning becoming debt free. And we are almost there. I just feel, we never know when we're going to have another shutdown. I mean, who could imagine COVID happened and the pandemic happened? And I know people feel we are far from that anymore, because it would be devastating to our economy. But as robots are taking people's jobs are going away. People are going offshore. There are more people going into business for themselves. I just think it's a wise thing to do, instead of continuing to create more debt, is to offload that debt. Kind of, our goal is to kind of sit back, reset, recharge, because We did. Give you personal testimony. We were able to sell our home. Now, I would have told any buyer in this, any seller in this time, in this
Uh-huh.
season, that, yeah, you're going to make good on the cash out, right? On
Mm-hmm.
selling the home. But where are you going? For
Exactly.
Yeah,
us,
yep, that's the truth.
for
Yeah.
for us, our strategy was a little bit different in that, as a real estate professional, I'm in the car anyway, so I'm virtual. With him retiring, the need for him to be close to work or any job, it is a mute point. And
Mm-hmm.
because our kids are gone, we're not trying to upsize, but rather right sizing or even a little bit downsizing. In this case, we just made a lateral move. So we were not looking for a bigger home. So what ended up happening, and it was a win-win-win for us. We did sell our home at the highest. So we exponentially cashed out there. I don't mind saying. Uh, we were inconvenienced in a hotel
Mm-hmm.
after we did
But that
a
was temporary.
Yeah.
very temporary. Yes, we wasn't trying to be renters, but very, very temporary. Um, but in the duration of building our home throughout that duration, we actually walked into this house that we own now with at least $110,000 equity.
Mm.
Wow.
Sweet.
Wow. And is that because it took so long for them to
Took
complete the
so
home?
long. The
Yeah.
prices to build
Yeah.
went up and up and up. So it ended up being a very smart money move because the cash we eked out of the sale, which put us in profit, allowed us to pay off some debt. And
Mm-hmm.
then we walked into this particular house with some instant equity that we're like, whoa.
Whoa.
And might I say, we were able to pay cash for this particular home. So that was a win-win-win. Now we are going to sit back and look at the other investment opportunities so that we can grow that cash. So
Yeah.
that's just a
Right.
strategy that worked for our family. It
And
don't,
that's a retirement
Hmm.
plan.
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it may not work for everybody else,
Yeah.
may not be their goal, their dream. Someone called and asked me, hey, you think it's a good idea for me to sell my house? I don't know of anything. I can't even see anything that I would want to live in. I'm like, well, what's your why? Well, I mean, why, what is your why? And your why will, take you to the place that you need to be.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes. And
So what are some of the things? I know you did something really cool after you retired, Rhonda. You basically went and started a whole new career, and you got your retirement. And I know you bought a home. So are you able to share a little bit?
yeah, I want to. I'm going to share that, and that's really a great point that I was going to make. So thank you for kind of confirming that. Is that? But I wanted to just mention three steps, and what I want to say, key steps to getting ready for retirement. And then I'll piggyback on one of those that I'm going to actually talk about. I'll name those three, and then I'll stop when I talk about redefine retirement. But the first one is start saving yesterday. That means
Good.
Chris had made this point earlier. Is start when you're young. Don't wait until you're almost at retirement age or halfway there and say, okay, now I'm going to come up with a savings plan, or I'm going to join my 401k.
Hmm.
Because if you start early, you have the opportunity to have a larger nest egg. And not only that, have it deducted from your paycheck where you don't see it. Because
Exactly.
out of what they say, Adam,
Out of
out
sight,
of
out of
sight,
mind.
out of
Right
mind.
out of mind.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And it's something you don't have to remember to do because it's automatically being taken out your check. So that was one of the good points that you had made, Chris. And another one is get out of debt. Look, we on the same page. Ross talked about that. Get
Yeah.
out of debt. Have a pay down strategy before you retire. Go ahead and do a budget, even if it's going to D free or any other kind of budget, so that you won't have all of that debt once you get to retirement, because then that's less stress that you have to worry about. You have all this debt. you're in retirement, and there's no more of that income that you have now. You may have income from your pension, but it's not the same income.
Right.
And then another one, and I'm going to piggyback off this, redefine retirement. Many people walk away from long time careers, but they're really not prepared for full retirement.
Right.
And
That's
take
right.
the opportunity to have another skill. And I'm going to piggyback off that because when I retired, I had already from FedEx 30 years, and I've always been in accounting. I started my mortgage lending before I actually retired. So what I did is already had my foot in the door. So
Mhm.
once I went into full retirement, I had already built those relationships. I had already
Exactly.
started working under a lender. And
Yeah.
so it's not like I was starting from ground zero. And the
Hmm.
only thing I had to do is just keep on going and just give it, always give my all no matter what. But instead of getting 100%, I may gave 125 now because I didn't have another uh, place that I had
Hmm.
to go. So make sure
Exactly.
you do that. And
Mhm.
another thing is delay your Social Security benefits because the more you delay your Social Security benefits, wait until you're 72 because the longer you delay it, the larger your payout is when you come to Social
Yep.
Security.
Exactly.
That's nice. Good
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
stuff. Good
And
stuff.
just like me, when I retired, I delayed my pension. I delayed everything and I just started working. So when I get to 82, it ain't gonna be 70. I'll go back and say, yes,
Hmm.
now I'm ready. No, it won't be 72.
That's very wise.
Uh-huh. Yep, because
Hmm.
it can increase by just delaying it up to 25 to 30% just by delaying from 62 to 72. But
Yes.
I'm gonna back up a little bit too. I talked about throughout all different IRAs and things of that nature. So let me kind of explain them. What the difference are to. I'm gonna give you a quick overview.
okay.
Essentially, the simplified RA, as I actually have myself. That's for people who are self-employed. So we consider
Hmm.
self-employed. That's what I have myself. And then you have a Roth IRA. You have to have a certain. You got to be at a certain financial point to get a Roth IRA. If I'm not mistaken, if it's combined, if you combine with a spouse, you can combine with a partner or something like that. I believe it's like 204,000 for that. If you're single, it's 129.
Okay.
And then the thing is about that too, you don't see any benefits up front, but you sit on the back end. And with the traditional IRA, you can actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can get a tax break on the front end, with that. And then, of course, on the back end, you'll see something different as well. So, you get your
Mhm.
traditional, your Roth, and then you have your simplified RA. And, it's kind of funny. Some people talk about the Roth RA. They said, I think, if I'm not mistaken, you can't make more than $204,000 combined, and, I'm getting on my soapbox a little bit here, but it's funny, your lower working class gets a lot of benefits. People who are filthy rich get a lot of benefits, but the people who consider middle class, upper middle class, or just middle class period, saying we kind of get stuck stuck
In
in
the
the middle,
middle. Right.
from this standpoint, because not to try to snoot at $204,000, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, from a combined standpoint, I mean that's better than some people might be doing, but that's not a lot. And my point of reference is once again, you got somebody who gets tax breaks, who are getting them, who are considered extremely wealthy, and you have some who are not so fortunate, but it's the middle person who kind of misses out on that. I mean, we talked about this before too. You try to get yourself in a position where you can, based on what you're given, but that's what we're here for too, because I think
Right.
even from that standpoint, it's still always something somebody can be doing. And like I said, you can always reach out to somebody to kind of get some advice. I mean, that's what I'm here
Right.
for. I don't charge
Right.
anybody for, when I say advice, not advice per se, but kind of give them options on what they can do.
Right.
Right.
They can make
Right.
an informed decision on their own.
Yeah,
Right.
right. And I wanted to chime in right there. And our disclaimer is to everyone that'll hear this and come back and replace, we are not financial advisors, but we have our own experiences. And because of the nature of our professions, we have to know a little bit about everything,
Right.
Yeah.
in order to help people. So I did want to make that disclaimer. And, we're here on behalf of NAREB. We're engaged. We have D-Free. But just like Chris said and Rhonda, there are other tools. And I would be remiss if I did not bring up one source that could create 7 streams of income for you. And it's a debt-free company called MyEcon. MyEcon provides financial literacy, how to income shift, meaning if you are a W-2 employee, we know that 80% of people have those filled out incorrectly, their W-4s. Well, so that you don't owe the government at the end, there's video instructions on how to give yourself a raise by adjusting those W-4s and getting that money back in your paycheck. And what could you do with an extra $200 or $400? What? Pay off some bills, start an emergency savings. I think we statistically know that a lot of people are not prepared for retirement, like Rhonda said, but neither are people prepared to have at least 12 months of their household expenses saved in the event of emergency. And those are just, again, some foundational things of where you want to start. You know, the same company, again, one source, 7 streams, will teach you how to get your credit in order by giving you the letters, video instructions on how to do that, right? Trading in the foreign exchange market, buying crypto, flipping stocks, you know, those things that have been locked out to a lot of our communities. I know in my household, we wasn't talking about nothing. We wasn't talking about no annuities, no 401k.
No,
That's where I came from. Now, there are some that was fortunate to have that financial literacy, and a lot of people are expecting the schools and colleges and other people to teach it. Well, it starts at home, but that education, it is available. And this particular program that we're talking about, they're running a special. It's just $9.95 to start and $39.95 a month. So if anybody wants to know about that, you can inbox me about that and see if we can get you going. But so that's for the person who says, okay, I've maxed out how much money I can make in my job other than the cost of living, or whenever they feel like they're going to give me a raise, how can I make some extra money or create some streams? And there are answers and solutions out there. So yeah.
Wow. That was great information. And I was just thinking when you were talking, I was just thinking about how now I heard that, and I'm sure you guys have, is that a lot of people are leaving corporate America. And I know a lot of our 401k and retirement accounts start at work. You know, now is really the time, if you're not sign up for 401k, sign up for the 401k while you can, just like Chris said, and max that out. And if you're at a position or a job that does not offer 401k or some kind of retirement saving plans, like you say, start your own.
Yeah.
Take something every week or when you can. I don't care if it's $20, and put it aside so that you'll have something, because something is better than nothing.
So I actually got somebody on my staff that does that, so that's the key. So I try to make sure that I have something for everybody, for any type of situation I'm talking about it. So I try to make sure I have the tool, resources, and the staff and to handle all that. So I got people in all different positions that can do different things. And I got a guy who specifically does that for me on a day-to-day basis. I have my 6 and 63 license myself to do certain things, as far as, talking to people and giving them options and stuff like that. But then too, when it comes to, I know how to do a lot of that stuff, but he does that for me on a day-to-day basis, all day, every day. So on certain things, I just put it over to him, and he's a guru when it comes to doing so.
Okay, awesome.
And I know some employers will allow you to select up to 3 bank accounts that you can have your funds, your weekly or monthly or bi-monthly or whatever check go to every month. Make one of those accounts. It's just like your Christmas funds that when I know I used to do, you had a Christmas fund, you can do $50 a paycheck, and have it automatically sent to a savings account. And then you don't have to worry about transferring that. That's just like your 401k, because it's automatically being withdrawn from your check and deposited into an account. And that can be your savings account for retirement. And then you still don't have to manually move that money from one place to the other.
This is good.
Yeah.
That's very, very good. Well, hey, if you guys are just joining, we're wrapping it up. We are realtors creating pathways to home ownership. So today we've been talking about retirement, savings, and savvy ways to invest. We pray that you have been informed so that you can either make an informed decision or go get a financial advisor or call Mr. Chris so he can get you connected,
The principal.
yeah, the principal, so he can direct you in the right area. I know it starts with some life insurance. We got to start with the basics. And Rhonda, oh my God, you shared a plethora of information. I even learned something. I was taking notes over here. So yes, I'm Rosalind Booker, principal broker, CEO of Our Brook Realty. We are a full service real estate company here in the North Collin County area, and we help people birth their dreams and build legacies in real estate. Our Brook Cares is our nonprofit arm, and we're linking arms and shoulders with the community to help renters become homeowners. And if you would like to give us a call, you can reach me at 972-996-4730. What's my number? 972-996-4702. And Rhonda?
And I'm Rhonda Hutchison. I'm the Lone Lioness. I'm powered by Paramount Residential Mortgage Group. And you can give me a call if you have any questions. If you want to talk about HECM reverse mortgage, HECM purchase, or you want to, if you started one job, you've already retired from one job and you have another career and you've been there a while and you want to know if you can use that income to qualify, yes, you can. Let's talk and see what you can do to either prepare you for retirement, or if you're already retired and you just want to see what your options are. Give me a call again. My number is 214-856-3747. That's 214-856-3747.
And Chris, as you send us out, would you please make a few of the announcements and
Okay.
whatever you have coming up as well?
Well, in fact, I'm gonna do that. So I actually switched screens. So if I look like I'm looking crazy or cross-eyed, I'll switch screens. So I'm looking at something here. So I just want to remind everybody about the code drive. The Ziegler Agency Winter Code Drive is going to be held at my office on January 29th, which is the fifth Saturday of this month. However, we are taking donations at my office up until that point, and then also at the Services of Hope at 5470 Ellsworth Avenue in Dallas, Texas, as well. They're taking them from 10 to 4. And you can bring it to my office at 8750 West Main, Suite 203 in Frisco from 10 to 5. So you're not able to make it on the 29th. You can bring it anytime between those times. We'd be more than happy to take your donations. And if you want to come out and volunteer and help out, and it's cool too, what happens as well. I actually have students sometimes they have to get with those green court hours and stuff like that. So last function I had, I know Roz could make, but Rhonda was there, and we had some students they were there too, volunteering, which was kind of awesome too. So they can see what's like, so to give back to the community and starting that at an early age. So if you have any questions about that, you can call me at 214-870-4269. Once again, my number is 214-870-4269. And if you have any concerns or needs, and have any questions when it comes to life insurance, home insurance, financial type products, anything like that, or just need somebody you want to bounce some things off of, you can call the Ziegler Agency from that standpoint at same number, 214-870-4269. And then too, the winter conference is coming up for NAREB. It's going to be there. It's kind of like the meeting before they have the big one later on in the summer. It's going to be in San Antonio. And if I'm not mistaken, it's going to be March 1st through the 4th. So we're excited about that as well. And I think the National is going to be actually in Houston too. So we have two of the biggest events or biggest conventions with NAREB right here in our backyard. One's going to be in San Antonio in March. Another one's going to be this summer and in Houston. So I'm so excited and looking forward to those two opportunities to network and to learn about more from a national standpoint, because we see a microcosm what happens on a smaller scale, but when you get to those big ones, which I haven't been to, I heard they're phenomenal. So I'm just looking forward to that. I'm so excited, and I'm going to punt it back to Ross to take us out.
But Chris, before Ross take us out, say your address one more time, because you said it so fast. Yeah.
For some people like you, don't scare me. No, my address is 8750 West Main, Suite 203 in Frisco, 75034, 8750 West Main, Frisco, Texas. So,
Yes, and would you share that our membership is open here at NAREB. We can
yep.
always have more hands to the plow to get the word out,
Yes,
because
indeed.
the goal is to increase home ownership for our minority groups and bridge that gap. We are behind. We're behind, but if we can educate and consultate,
Yep.
Then we in good shape.
Hey, like I said, the thing is, it's never too late. We're still in the ball game. We're still playing the game. Might be the fourth quarter, but we're still
right.
playing the game. We're
Come
still,
on
still
now.
time on
Now
the clock.
you talking about language, and all this education is getting us prepared in the gym, doing our reps. That
Yep.
when that time comes, would you say, Coach, put me in the game? It's
Yep.
time for me, Rhonda, to get that house. Come on now. It's time to put you in the game. So y'all meet us here again. We're here every second and fourth Tuesdays at 12 noon, high noon for the hour of power. And until next time, y'all go be great, be good.
Be
Bye-bye.
good. All right. Bye bye.